Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is episode 39 of High Street Sports. My name is Chris. This is John Ross. Last night, the college football season wrapped up with a rather snooze fest for the most part of a football game. Michigan came out hot. Washington really had nothing to counter Michigan's run game in the first quarter and a half. After that, Washington's offense kind of felt like it was stuck in neutral. Michigan's defense, as it has all season, played very well and was able to contain Michael Penix Jr. for the most part and make it difficult, showing different looks and sending blitzes at him that, frankly, one of the best offensive lines in college football just really couldn't contain. Michigan was able to win their first outright national championship since 1948 or whatever that number was. So we're here. The college football season's wrapped up. John Ross, what's going on, man? What did you think of last night's festivities in Houston?
Yeah, I mean, it looked like it was going to be a blowout to start off, and then Washington it looked like we were primed for a really good second half, and Washington could just never get the big play off, and when they did, it got negated by a penalty Washington could just never seem to get it in gear. Michael Penix Jr. didn't look right. I know he got injured at one point, his ribs, but that's why I went with Michigan, man. I think all year long we said, which quarterback do you trust most? And obviously it was Michael Penix Jr. in this one. But like I said, I thought this game would come down to which defense do you trust most, and that's what it ended up happening. Washington's offensive line couldn't really handle the speed of Michigan's defense, the physicality of Michigan's defense, and they kind of got exposed a little bit. And I kind of think Michael Penix's draft stock maybe took a little bit of a hit. Easy.
Hey man, he's a thirsty dog.
This in the background, but I thought it pretty good first half. Really, kind of a snooze fest third quarter, and neither team really seemed like they wanted to do anything. Michigan didn't seem like they wanted to put their foot on the gas and run away with it. Washington, like you said, stuck in neutral the whole time, and missed a couple big plays. But Michigan, they won the whole thing. Very well likely could get taken away at some point, but hey, they proved a lot of doubters wrong this year, and got the natty for, like you said, the first time in what feels like 100 years in this millennium at least.
Yeah, I mean, and I think two plays really stick out to me as far as the totality of last night. When you look at it, that fourth down play from about midfield when Michael Penix, and Rome Odunze had a little bit of a miscommunication. It looked like Penix threw a corner route and Odunze ran like a go or maybe a post. But that play, if Michael Penix can connect with Rome Odunze there, you score going into sometime in the second quarter. I can't remember when that was, but that would have changed the complexion of the game. And then you come out first play at halftime, and you got to think, man, if you're Michael Penix, you have the momentum and you come out with the ball to start the second half and you throw a pick, man, that was just a bit of a backbreaker, although they did hold him to a field goal there. But you think you come out in the first possession and you got to be the one to continue with that momentum and put some points up, and they just weren't able to do it. But like I said, man, I can't remember if we talked about it on this show or the Buckeye show or whichever one it was, but credit to Michigan's coaching staff, man. Sherrone Moore has come out and really done a pretty good job with Michigan's offense, being able to move people around. Like in that first quarter, Washington had no idea what to do with Michigan's pre-snap movement and all that kind of stuff. And Michigan's coaching is really ultimately what to me made the difference in that team. And they have some pretty good players on both sides of the ball there. But when you really look at it, and JJ McCarthy's struggles to throw the ball in the last probably 6 games or so for Michigan, they were able to mask that with running the ball and using JJ's legs and all stuff that really Washington for the most part didn't have much of an answer for. So I will leave it at that. We'll see what happens with the rest of this stuff. Jim Harbaugh, big rumors that he might be leaving for the NFL. So we'll watch out for that one and see what happens there. Also with the ongoing NCAA investigation into all of that sign stealing nonsense with Michigan. So that brings it into a exciting college football season. I think you brought up a good point where Washington is going to have to figure out how to deal with, smash mouth Big Ten football. And I think that goes for the rest of those 4 teams that are coming into the Big Ten as well. So, conference realignment is happening in this latest wave, and we're getting ready to see all that brings. I was looking at some future schedules in the ACC, and I couldn't happen to notice Cal and Stanford's names on some of those ACC schedules, so kind of forgot about those
and SMU
movements
too,
as well.
right?
And SMU, I believe, yes, sir. So a lot of stuff that's college football is changing. This is the last year of the 4-team college football playoff. We will move to 12 teams next year, so that's going to be a super exciting thing for college football fans. I don't know if I just missed it. Did EA drop the college football video game trailer? Yeah, that was rumored to be a thing last night. That wasn't. So thank you for edging us there, EA. That was wonderful. But all in all, man.
Rumor is that Jaden Daniels is going to be on the cover of it.
As he should be. Reigning Heisman Trophy winner, dog in a lot of ways. So, but yeah, man, that puts an interesting end to the college football season. There was some transfer portal movement as that game hit triple zeros last night. Quinshon Judkins did announce his intent to transfer to Ohio State to play for the Buckeyes for what could be another year or 2 of his eligibility. A difference maker at running back there. So it's a huge addition for the Buckeyes, conveniently as Michigan wins the national championship. So gamesmanship all the way around. And it'll never stop. So we will continue to keep an eye on college football, bring you guys the latest of all the news and the big things happening there. So that is not the end of our national college football talk going forward on High Street Sports. It'll be a little bit shifted. Obviously, since that season is over, it will be shifted more towards the NFL playoffs. The second season of the NFL starts this weekend. Big weekend. A lot of storylines, a lot of intrigue going into these matchups. We will get to some of those individual storylines as we break down some of these games. I finished last week in the regular season. The last week of picks, I finished 12-4 to bring my overall record to 156 and 118, which was not enough to come back and overtake your record, sir. What did you finish with in that last week of the regular season?
I went 10-6 to finish 168 and 106. So had you by 12 games. You made a comeback there at the end. I will say that.
Dude, last 4 or 5 weeks of the season got hot.
But yeah, first week of NFL playoffs, wild card weekend this weekend. Like Chris said, a lot of storylines, a lot of good games too. Excited about. First off, the 2 teams who aren't playing this weekend, the Ravens and the AFC, they have a bye. They have home field throughout the playoffs. And the 49ers and the NFC, they have home field, number 1 seed throughout the playoffs. But getting into the first game of the week, we got going into Saturday. We got two games that Saturday. We'll start with the one at 4:30 that afternoon. We got the Cleveland Browns making a return to the playoffs. How about it? The Brownies traveling to Houston to play the surprise team of the playoffs, the Houston Texans, and rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud put on a great performance to clinch a play to beat the Colts last week, and then got a little help from the Jags too, losing to the Titans to clinch the AFC South, finished 10-7 in his rookie year, and also D'Amico Ryan's first year as a head coach. So a lot of excitement around that team. CJ's playing really well. They get a home game in both their first seasons at Houston. Cleveland's favored in this one though, -2.5. Cleveland did lose to the Bengals, but they were resting a lot of guys, although getting healthy. So all those guys will be back. Mr. Elite himself, Joe Flacco, will be back this week in the playoffs, making a return. But yeah, like I said, Cleveland favored -2.5. We can get into the discussion on this one. I will just come right out with my pick. I'm going to pick Cleveland. I know I wouldn't say Joe Flacco is a better quarterback right now than C.J. Stroud is. C.J.'s playing really well, but he's veteran. He's won a Super Bowl. He's been to the playoffs a bunch of times, and that Cleveland defense, I think, is going to make life really, really tough for CJ. I do think it'll be a close game. I think the Browns will make it ugly, like they seem to be their calling card this year with all the injuries they've had and how much they've had to rely on their defense. So I'm going to take the Brownies, and I'll take the Browns 23-17.
Yeah, I mean, I like that score, and I like the points that you hit on there, man. I just can't can't get past, talking about this game without mentioning what an incredible turnaround for the Houston Texans as a whole. They were a team that was kind of written off before the season started. Obviously, they were in the position that they were in with the, picking as high as they were for a reason. They were not a very good football team at all last year. And, it really speaks to what DeMeco Ryans has brought to the Texans, and really what he's been able to do and his staff and putting CJ Stroud and that, group of receivers and everybody else in the position to win. It kind of started slow for the Texans. I think they started 1-3 maybe. And then just as they went on, they started to win some ball games and gain some belief. And CJ Stroud, man, there's really not much more that you can say about him and the way he's played this year other than just go ahead and hand him the Rookie of the Year trophy. Had a great season. For the Texans, was really a cornerstone for what they've been able to do. However, CJ, man, you got a lot of ball left. And I hate to say it, this week, I think the Brownies are going to come away with the win. I do like your score prediction there. I will go, something probably along the lines of 24 to 17 or 24 to 16 or something along those lines. But I really, really like the position that the Browns are in. They did win in Houston earlier this season, albeit that was one of the games that CJ Stroud sat out with his concussion. So, it'll be a little bit of a different look for that defense. But I think, what the Browns have been able to do all year long, given the injuries like you've talked about, is based on the defense and what they've been able to do. And, Joe Flacco's come in and played some really good football for the Browns, and that can't be understated. And Kareem Hunt and Jerome Ford and all that running back room has really picked up the slack since Nick Chubb has gone down. They will need to do more if the Browns want to make it far in this playoffs, though. So I want to point that out. Like, Joe Flacco cannot have the weight of the Browns season on his shoulders for the rest of this season. So he's going
to be good for one interception a game, I feel like.
Yeah, and again, like, that's where the defense steps in, and Myles Garrett and that bunch is going to need to play some really good football coming down the stretch here. So it's big times in Cleveland, man. It's been a long time coming. Only the third time the Browns have made the playoffs since they've re-entered the league in 1999, and I can't, it's unbelievable. The excitement is there. It's real. Stephen A. Smith put for whatever that's worth, Stephen A. Smith put the Browns as his third most dangerous team in the playoffs behind the Ravens and the Niners. So that's huge, man.
Yeah, dude,
like when have you ever heard that?
Can somehow just recapture some kind of magic from that 2012 run with the Ravens. He doesn't have to be that guy like he was in that playoff run. If he can be even half of that, I think the Browns can make a lot of noise in the playoffs. But going back to the Texans, another shout we forgot to mention is offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick. He's probably going to be a head coach after this year. Done a really good job with CJ Stroud, and CJ was actually on Pat McAfee's show. It was either yesterday or today, and said he actually admitted that he had a lot more responsibility at Ohio State under Ryan Day than he does under Bobby Slowick, and that's a glowing endorsement for Bobby Slowick right now, because the best coaches in the NFL, they know how to take something which is extremely complicated, which being a quarterback in the NFL is extremely complicated, and simplify it.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, and it really speaks to, and I want to just put this out there, if you put that much stock into the Wonderlic or whatever the hell that stupid cognitive test
like you said, he's a football player.
I mean, that's unbelievable, dude. If any of you have ever taken the Wonderlic test or seen example questions from the Wonderlic test, you would understand that it has nothing to do with football, and especially at the quarterback position. Like, he was a Heisman finalist for a reason. Like, the dude knows ball. So shove that up your ass. Good job, CJ. Hell of a season for the Texans, and but I'm going to pick with you, and I'm going to go with the Browns in this one.
All right. And then next up, second Saturday game is a pretty interesting one. Could be a good one. Well, that remains to be seen, though. Both teams have been kind of hobbled into the playoffs. We got the number 6 seed Miami Dolphins traveling to Kansas City to play the 3 seed Chiefs. Dolphins squandered a chance to take the AFC East and get the 2 seed in the AFC last week, losing to the Bills on Sunday night. The Chiefs, I think they won, actually. Yep, they they beat the Chargers in a close one, albeit resting a lot of guys. They had a Blaine Gabbert start. But yeah, the Chiefs, they were locked into that 3 seed no matter what. This game's at 8 o'clock Saturday night, and then the Kansas City's favored -3.5 in this one. Like I said, both teams are kind of hobbling into this one. Kansas City had a lot of questions the last month and a half or so. They don't really seem like the Kansas City of old. They've had to grind out wins. They've lost games you wouldn't expect them to lose. And then the Dolphins really hobbling into this one, got blown out by the Ravens. And then the following week, like I said, failed to take advantage of a chance to win their division, lost to the Bills at home. So a lot of potential for offensive fireworks in this one. I don't think we're going to get it in this one, though. I think this one could be kind of low scoring as well. Dolphins are missing Bradley Chubb. He's going to be out for the rest of the year. They do have a few other injuries on defense, and the Chiefs used last week to rest up. So I'm going to pick Kansas City in this one. I'm going to go Kansas City 21 and Miami 13.
Yeah, I just have a hard time thinking that Miami, with the people that they're without, are going to be able to walk into Kansas City in a playoff
I'm not
scenario.
sure if Jalen Waddle is going to be playing. I know he didn't play last week.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either. But I think, one thing that will hold Miami in this game is their defense. They had a chance to win that game last week against the Bills, but their defense really is making plays when they needed it. That play where Jerome Baker came up and just blew up that play at the goal line to keep that the Bills receiver out of the end zone was unbelievable. So I think Miami's defense can hold them in the game long enough to make it interesting. However, going into Kansas City and winning a playoff game, especially, I assume, I don't know what the weather's going to be like in Kansas City, but I assume it's going to be chilly, especially for a night game. So it's a lot different than South Florida. So, I think that is one thing that works in the Bills' favor. And then obviously, works in the Chiefs' favor. And then obviously you have the Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce factor, which, again, in the playoffs.
They could turn it on in the playoffs. You never know. I mean, they've won 2 Super Bowls in the past few years, and they're seasoned at this point. They've been to 5 straight AFC championship games now.
And this is going to be, if they do make it past this game, this will be the first time since Patrick Mahomes has been a starter in Kansas City that they had to play a road playoff game, which is unbelievable.
Depending on who else wins. But
yeah, right. But
in all likelihood, yes.
Right. They're not guaranteed home field throughout. So
it's
going to be a different vibe for sure.
Yeah, and I just looked, Jalen Waddle, he did practice today, albeit in a limited capacity. So it sounds like he is trending to play this week. What kind of Jalen Waddle they'll get is a different story. But yeah, if they're going to win, their offense is going to have to win it for them. They're going to have to win because Kansas City actually surprisingly has the number 2 scoring defense in the league. Their defense has played really well in spurts this year. But yeah, Kansas, like I said, I'm picking Kansas City. I'm going to roll with a known factor. The Dolphins, they're new at this playoff stuff, and Kansas City is absolutely not new at it. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs at home.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pick the Chiefs as well. But they're going to have somebody in that wide receiver room step up and make some plays. And they've got to have somebody else help out Travis Kelce and Isaiah Pacheco. So they can't be the only 2 people making plays in that offense. So, there's going to have to be some give and take there. Who is it going to be to step up for the Chiefs? We'll see.
Does Kadarius Toney flip the script entirely?
He could earn comeback player of the year just this game alone, couldn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, I will also pick the Chiefs. I'll go, if the Dolphins are going to win this game or, even give it a chance, it's going to have to be, they're going to have to put up some points, I think, especially in Kansas City on the road. But how will they do?
Dolphins are going to score over 30 if
that's my question as well. So I'm going to go Kansas City 28 and the Dolphins 24.
Yeah, hopefully no one trips over the holes Isaiah Pacheco makes when he runs the ball. Yeah. Someone said he runs like he bites people.
He's got heavy feet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Just 2 Saturday games, and then moving into Sunday, we got 3 games that day. First off,
it bites people.
He runs like a cartoon character, man.
That's funny.
But he runs like he's mad at the ground. Oh, I've never seen anything like it.
Whatever
But yeah,
works.
yeah. Moving on, Sunday, first game, 1 p.m. that day. We got the Buffalo Bills, who won against the Dolphins last week, to clinch a playoff spot and win the AFC East. The alternative was they would miss the playoffs entirely. So good on you, Buffalo. And then they're playing the Steelers, who, believe it or not, the Steelers finished 10-7. They made the playoffs. Mike Tomlin is a wizard. Yeah. They will be without. It was confirmed today that TJ Watt will not play. He has, I think, a grade 2 MCL sprain. So Steelers are going to be without their best defensive player. Still got some playmakers over there, and Minka Fitzpatrick, Cam Hayward over there, and Alex Highsmith. Big loss though for the leader of that defense, and someone who they were going to really need if they wanted a chance of winning this game. Buffalo is actually favored by 10 in this one. But I think this one has the potential to be ugly too, because Buffalo all season long, I've said it a bunch of times, they seem to play down to the level of their competition. Their defense is playing really well though. Josh Allen is playing well, but you can almost say at this point, he's good for an interception a game. He's very turnover prone. He gets happy feet too much. He tries to force throws a lot. But I will take Buffalo in this one. I do think the Steelers will cover. I think Buffalo will win this one. Give me Buffalo 24-10.
I actually was going to say that same exact score. I do like that. I like Buffalo to win this game pretty big at home, considering, big in college, big in the NFL are two different things. Points are kind of a premium in the NFL. But, I don't like the Steelers' chances without TJ Watt. I mean, he's the leader of that team. Obviously, he'll still be involved and he'll still be a big part of what they're doing throughout the week and on the sideline on Sunday. But I'll take Josh Allen over who's going to be the starter. Is it Mason Rudolph?
It'll be Mason Rudolph, yep.
Yeah, I'll take Josh Allen over Mason Rudolph 7 days a week and twice on Sunday.
Yeah, so, it ain't January 6th anymore, Mason.
Yeah, it's your it's
you had to know that man was going to ball out on January 6th.
Yeah, well, yikes. I don't have any faith in the Steelers with Mason Rudolph. It's kind of a miracle that they're in the position they're in, but Buffalo is the better team here, albeit with their struggles. But I think Josh Allen will find a way to get it done and win the game. And I will agree with your score prediction, 24-10.
And I hope they do win. I hope the Chiefs win so we can get a Buffalo Chiefs rematch in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yep.
So selfishly, we want that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it for the 3 AFC games this week. Moving on to the NFC. Next game that Sunday afternoon, we got the Green Bay Packers, who clinched a playoff spot by beating the Bears last week. I believe they finished 9-8. And then
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and then they were dead in the water for a little bit in the middle of the season, it looked like. And Jordan Love really started turning on. They started to really ride Aaron Jones, their star running back there. The defense for them is still shaky, but we'll see what happens. But, yeah, they're traveling to Jerry World to play the NFC East champion Cowboys. They took care of business last week against the Commanders to clinch that division. Sunday at 4:30, and Dallas is favored -7.5 in this one. I'm going to side with the Cowboys in this one. I think this could be a good game, but the Cowboys just play different at home. And I think Green Bay's defense is very torturable. I think CeeDee Lamb is in for a big game. I know Jair Alexander will probably shadow him all game. He's back after being suspended the last game of the season. But yeah, I'm not too confident in Green Bay's defense holding up on the road against this Cowboys offense was as explosive as it could be. Give me Dallas in this one. I will take Dallas 31, Green Bay 20.
You and the score predictions, man. We're on the same page here. I will. Once again, I want to take a minute to stop and give flowers to Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur, man. Like you saw what it could be in the first couple of games of the season. Packers came out hot, and then after the first 3-4 games, kind of fell into a rut. And man, the way they bounced back and the way they just kept finding a way to win games, and similar to the Texans, man, like the expectations were low for both of those teams. And, they kind of followed a similar sort of season, and, they kind of dealt with some injuries at some of the important skill positions for both of those teams, and both of them able to come out and figure out a way to win and adapt with the new quarterback. And, Jordan Love, obviously not a rookie. He's been there for 4 years in that system already, but yeah, it's unbelievable to see what they were able to do, and for them to make it into the playoffs, and when they were essentially written off, like you said, halfway through the season, is pretty remarkable. But as much as I am not a fan of the Cowboys or Skip Bayless, it is going to hurt me to pick them. But I think playing at home is going to make a big difference here. That's a tough environment to play in. That stadium gets pretty loud when the Cowboys are playing well, and especially in the playoffs. So, yeah, I will pick the Cowboys as well. My score prediction is 30-23. So we're close there. I think, Dak is just going to find a way to make some plays. I think you're right. I think CeeDee Lamb could have a big day. And I think, that I think the defense is good enough and for the Cowboys to kind of maybe force a turnover or two that could be untimely for the Packers. So, it's another team, man, that's got a lot of high hopes in front of them. I think Jordan Love's got a lot of good ball left in him, and especially in front of him. So, this loss isn't by any means going to, derail what the Packers are building with Jordan Love. But I do think the Cowboys are just going to be a little bit too much for him to handle in this one.
Jerry Jones didn't do his head coach, Mike McCarthy, any favor by the comment he made when asked about his job security. Mike McCarthy's, he said, and I quote, "We'll see how each game goes." Talk about adding unnecessary pressure to your head coach right before the playoffs start.
Yeah, and I mean, and once again, like, what did the Cowboys finish? What's their record?
12-5.
Yeah, so you finished 12-5 coming off of, disappointment last year, and you turn it around and play. I mean, that seems a little bit unreasonable to me.
I would not be I'm picking them, but it would not surprise me in the least to see the Cowboys cowboy this one.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, especially now. Listen, like, the Packers are not a team that's just going to go out and roll over, and they can find a way to use Aaron Jones in a way that could really hurt the Cowboys. And they've got some, young receivers, but they've got receivers that have really started to be able to make some plays and have come into their own. And, Christian Watson is no slouch. And I can't remember the other guy's name, Reed, whatever. I don't know his first name, but he led the Packers, and Jordan Reed led the Packers in touchdowns as far as the receivers go, I think. I think he led the whole team. So that's, they've got some playmakers on that offense. Now, can they block Micah Parsons is the question.
Yeah.
So, that's going to be the issue here. And will Jordan Love be able to use his legs to extend some plays and really be a dynamic playmaker? But yeah, man, what are you doing? That's unnecessary pressure added in a situation where, 12-5, like, you're going to be that critical of him going into the playoffs. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, we're both on the Cowboys in that one. I hope I'm wrong.
Me too.
I wouldn't be upset about being wrong in this one. Go Pack, go!
Go Packers.
Yep. Don't you know? And then next up, Sunday Night Football. The game with the most storylines, in my opinion, for this week. The Los Angeles Rams traveling to the Detroit Lions. Lions won the NFC North. They won last week. They played a lot of their starters to, I guess, to stay fresh for the playoffs. The Rams rested a lot of guys: Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, Kyron Williams. But yeah, Matt Stafford traveling back to the team that drafted him, where he spent over 10 years, the Detroit, and then Jared Goff going to where he was drafted, the Rams. I think he got drafted when they were still in St. Louis, though. But yeah, both on opposite ends of their former teams now. And Sunday, 8:15, Detroit's favored -3.5 in this one. Could be interesting. I think this one could be the shootout of the weekend. Both defenses are kind of middling, like middle of the road defenses, very torchable, and there's weapons on both sides to expose those defense. This is the game. This is going to be my upset pick of the wildcard round. I'm going to pick the Rams. I love MCDC. I love me some Dan Campbell. I like Detroit. I like some of the players on the team. Amon-Ra St. Brown. I like Jared Goff, the chip on his shoulder he's played with this year. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be really good. I just think I'm going to side with Sean McVay in this one. These guys have won a Super Bowl just a few years ago. I think Matt Stafford has been playing a little bit better since he got Cooper Kupp back, and he's got Puka Nacua, another target now. Kyron Williams is playing really well, and the Lions will be without Sam Laporta. I'm not sure how severe it is. I think the earliest he could possibly come back is if the Lions made a run to the NFC Championship game, and that's even a stretch, I think. And he seemed to be Jared Goff's security blanket over the back half of this season. He still has Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and all those guys. But, yeah, I'm going to go with the Rams in that experience and Sean McVay winning this one. And I'm going to go Rams 34, Detroit 31.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think about the storylines that are in this game and Matthew Stafford coming back to Detroit. I don't know. Is this the first time he's come back to Detroit
I think so,
since he's been gone? In the playoffs, man. I mean, that's going to be an emotional game for him. And, it's got to be a situation, I would think, where Detroit, the fans are going to give him a nice standing ovation and really welcome him back and, thank him for what he did and suffered through that. I mean, good Lord, the bad times with the Lions, man, that was pretty bad for the most of his tenure there. But you mentioned, man, like Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford have won a Super Bowl before together. They've been able to get it done, and Aaron Donald's still a thing, man. And as much as that defense might struggle at times, we've talked about the Rams and kind of not really being able to get a read on them this season. They've been hot and cold, up and down, and kind of winners in some weird games, and they've been able to find a way to get it done. But I think in this situation, experience means a lot, and there's still a lot of those big time pieces for the Lions that are still really young, inexperienced, haven't been in that moment yet. But I do like for the Lions that game being at home. That's another building that has shown that they can get pretty loud and make a difference on a ball game there. I don't really know which way I want to lean in this one, because it's like still part of me is thinking like, which version of the Rams are we going to get? However, you make a good point about Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp being there for the Rams, and those are two guys that make some plays.
Yeah, I think Puka could have a really big game, because I think Detroit's going to definitely try to double Cooper Kupp, because he can go win a ball game by himself. He's proven before, and they got Kyron Williams, who's just been on absolute fire the back half of this season at running back. But yeah, I just like the Rams in this one. I think it'll be a back and forth offensive game. But yeah, I'm just gonna side with that experience in this one. It wouldn't surprise me if the Lions won though.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me either, man. You look at the other side of it. I mentioned Aaron Donald, and not that he's I'm not comparing people to each other by any means, but you look on the other side of that and you have Aiden Hutchinson for the Lions, so he could make life difficult for Matthew Stafford here too. Man, this is a tough one. This is a very, very intriguing football game and a playoff matchup, and kind of throw things out the window here when you're looking at this stuff. But I think
Detroit's they are gonna be fired up for this one. Don't get me wrong.
They are, yeah. Man, I genuinely don't know. This is like a coin flip for me almost. I could see this game going either way. I do think there is something to be said though for the proven weapons that the Rams have. And Aaron Donald for me is going to find a way to make a play or two in this game. Get back to Jared Goff when it matters. I think I'm gonna go with the Rams here, just based on experience alone. I think is going to make a huge difference in this game. Sean McVay, again, no, they haven't had the same success in the last couple of years as they had previous to that Super Bowl year, but excuse me, it's still Sean McVay's been there, done that. This is new for the Lions in MCDC, so I will go ahead and pick the Rams. I'll go. I don't know if I'm going to go quite as high scoring as you. I'll go 27-24 Rams in this one.
Both field goal games.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then last game of the wild card round, Monday Night Football, Eagles at Buccaneers. Bucs took care of the Panthers last week, 9-0. Got and won the NFC South at 9-8. And then the Eagles continue their downward spiral, lost in New York to the G-Men. when in a game when a lot of the Eagles starters were playing because they still had a chance to win the NFC East with the Cowboys loss. That did not happen. The Eagles are just a mess right now, and I picked them to win the Super Bowl. So I'm just going to get that out of the way real quick. I am picking the Eagles in this one. I picked them to win the Super Bowl, so I'm going to ride with my pick. The confidence level on that is below a 10. It is below 10%. I will say that. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably a 3. But yeah, I think Baker's still fighting something. He didn't look right against the Panthers. I mean, they won. They had to kick 3 field goals to win. Panthers defense did play pretty well. But yeah, I think Baker's still hurt. I know it was he was questionable going into week 18. But I know Tampa Bay is a hard place to play at. That crowd will be fired up. And if Baker's even a little bit healthier than he was last year, I do think the Buccaneers will win this one. But yeah, just give me the Eagles. I think they had a players only meeting either yesterday or they've had one since they lost to the Giants. And I'm only saying this because I picked them. You got to hope they got together, got everything out there, and it's new season now, 0-0. So all the stuff that happened before this doesn't matter, but they've got to play better. Jalen Hurts has to play better. The offensive line has to play better because teams are figuring out if you blitz them a lot, that offensive line isn't holding up well against that, and Jalen can't outrun them forever. The defense, though, is the big thing for me. If the Eagles' defense could step up and be even somewhat close to what it was last year, I like the Eagles' chances in the playoffs. But, yeah, I'm going to roll with the Eagles in this one. Give me the Eagles 17-13.
Yeah, I think I saw or heard a stat that the Eagles are –
they're favored by 3. I forgot to mention that. Sorry.
Yeah, I saw a stat the other day that said that the Eagles are one of however many teams in the last however many years. It's been a long time. It's not happened very often to start 10-1 and not get to 12 wins, which is unbelievable considering the way that they looked in the first 11 games of the season. So that's one big thing. Second big thing is AJ Brown likely to play in this or no? I haven't seen any update there.
I think he is,
because that's huge. If he's not on the field, that's huge for the Eagles. But while he's looking that up, Baker Mayfield is a gamer, and he's found a way to put the Buccaneers in a position to win that division when I don't think anybody really gave the Bucs much of a fighting chance to win that division at all. They had some middle of the season drama with Mike Evans declaring that he will not re-up with the Buccaneers and explore free agency after the season. So there's a lot of stuff going on with the Buccaneers, man. It's kind of changing in Tampa Bay, and Baker's playing for something. And whenever Baker's on the field, man, you go back to his college days, he's had a chip on his shoulder and something to prove, being a walk-on twice and, being able to accomplish what he did in college and the way things ended with the Browns and ending up in Tampa Bay and getting a shot to lead that team. And he's done a pretty damn good job. So, I do think there's momentum there for the Buccaneers and the absence of momentum for the Eagles. What do you have on AJ Brown?
I know he didn't play last week. I know people were concerned. It was the ACL is, quote, intact. So that's a good thing. Sounds like it could be an MCL strain or something like that.
So AJ Brown is basically a huge question mark.
Yeah, I'd call him doubtful, to be honest.
Yeah,
the stuff I just looked at.
I'm gonna go ahead.
They're gonna need a big game out of Devontae Smith, and if that's the case, and they're gonna need. I think they're gonna need to get a turnover on defense if they want to win.
I'm gonna do it, man. My High Street Sports upset pick of the week. I'm picking the Buccaneers to beat the Eagles. They have not played their best ball at all, not anywhere close to what they had in the first half of the season. There's some major issues going on there. I don't think Jalen Hurts is healthy. I think he's still dealing with some injuries that have been hanging with him for the last probably month and a half. The Eagles are just not the same team that they were. Something's going on there. Obviously, if you're having players only meetings right before the playoffs, there's something wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the Buccaneers, and I'm going to pick the Buccaneers 20 and the Eagles 19.
Oh, wow. 1 point game. Okay, I like it.
1 point game. Big game Baker.
Yeah. That's it for the wildcard round. And for those who don't know, the lowest, the 2-1 seeds, the Ravens and the 49ers, they will play the lowest seed of all the winners. So say in the AFC, it goes how Chris and I predicted it, Bills, Chiefs, Browns, the Ravens would play the Browns in the divisional round in a AFC North matchup.
Feed it to me. I want it.
And then NFC went how I picked it. The 49ers would play the Rams, and the Cowboys would play the Eagles.
Oof. Hey, it's heating up, baby. This is exciting. This is, NFL playoffs are always an exciting time. Anything can happen, man. Like you said, throw the record books out the window. This is the second season. Anything that happened before is, somewhat irrelevant. Obviously, playing trends and stuff like that. But all bets are off in the playoffs, man. Everybody's going to throw everything at you, and they're going to try to find a way to win. And everybody wants to hoist that Lombardi trophy at the end of all this. So it's going to be exciting football. One program note before we get out of here. What do you have?
I just had an epiphany.
What's your epiphany?
There's no Tom Brady in these playoffs.
There is no Tom Brady in these playoffs.
For the first time in God knows how long, Tom Brady is not in the playoffs.
That's a beautiful thing.
It's weird. I'm not going to lie to you.
It is weird, but I love it. Oh, man. Wow. That's even more reason to watch NFL football, playoff football. No
Joe
Tom Brady.
Flacco is the old head in these playoffs.
And he's still elite. And that's something.
Always has
been. One program note before we get out of here. The Titans did part ways with Mike Vrabel today, creating, the first real second. The Falcons have also parted ways with Arthur Smith after that strangest ending to an NFL football game that I think I might have ever seen, with Jameis going rogue and getting Jamal Williams a touchdown. That was insane.
Could potentially see Vrabel and Arthur Smith reunite. He was their OC in doing that little run they had, those few winning seasons they had with Vrabel. So,
yeah.
I have a thought on Vrabel.
Go ahead.
I texted you this today.
You did?
I want the Panthers to throw the bag at Mike Vrabel. All these Panther fans, I get it. They're like, we want the offensive-minded head coach. Pardon my French, but fuck that. I want a proven leader, a leader of men who can come in and shift that and change the culture of the Carolina Panthers, because that's what we need right now, an entire culture shift, because right now there is no culture. Yeah. Cam Newton, Thomas Davis, Luke Kuechly, Greg Olsen, Ryan Khalil, they're all gone. That culture was destroyed by Baldy up in the owner's suite. So you want some goodwill, Dave, start right there.
Yeah,
you're still an idiot. But start right there. I would hire Mike Vrabel, even though I think he's going to go to the Patriots.
Yeah, it's an odd situation for me. I understand they haven't had a really good last 2 years in Tennessee, but he didn't draft Will Levis and the dude from Liberty. Like that's not on him. You left him with Ryan Tannehill.
And you cannot tell me he wanted to trade AJ Brown either.
Yeah, that's they went out and got DeAndre Hopkins, but again, man, Mike Vrabel was the least of the Texans' problems, in my opinion. Or excuse me, the Titans' problems, in my opinion. So 2021 Coach of the Year, 2 subpar seasons to the Titans' standards, I guess, and that leads him without a job. So coaching carousel is beginning to spin. We will keep everything, updated and, bring news to you guys when it comes in, and we will see you guys again next week. Guys, we are so close. We are 13 subs away from 100. So thank you guys for the last, 2 or 3 weeks. You guys have been creeping that number on up there, and the engagement's been incredible. So thank you guys for tuning back in and watching us talk about football. And again, like we say it at the end of every show, like it's been a really fun first season, kind of sitting here and giving you guys our thoughts. But college football season's over. We've still got a couple weeks left of the NFL. Exciting football coming forward. We'll have everything for you. John Ross, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Sad day waking up today. No, we have to wait till the Labor Day weekend this year for college football to come back, but it's fun as always. Makes you look forward to the next one even more. So, yeah, thank you guys for sticking around with us this year, hearing all our college football takes. It's been fun, and we can't wait for the next season to start and get back into all this stuff. We will still be talking about college football here. We're leading up to transfer portal news, coaching, hirings, firings, NFL draft, stuff like that.
All sorts of stuff coming for you guys on High Street Sports for the NFL playoffs and beyond. So if you haven't already, there's a large number of you guys that watch these videos that are not subscribed. It's a free way to support us, kind of get more eyes on us and get us out there. So we'd appreciate it if you did hit that sub button twofold to get us more exposure and so you don't miss anything that we talk about here. So go ahead, hit that sub button, like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, man. So we appreciate you guys, and we will see you guys in the next one. Have a great week.
Thanks, guys. Don't be a ghost.